Hello and welcome to the Damage Per podcast. I am Jesse Bartell, the host of said podcast. I also run the Substack, which is part of this whole thing that I'm doing. I write about video game novels and I write about Star Wars novels. It's a really great time, and it's been growing. And one of the things that's growing with it is this podcast. And I still don't know what this podcast is going to be just yet. I have some interviews lined up with some authors and some friends still. But I don't think it's going to be like a weekly thing. It's hard for me to get my writing done and work my job while doing all of this. So I'm going to try to make it pretty consistent, though. So we'll see what happens. This week, I am joined by my friend Mitch Reeves. Mitch is a longtime internet buddy of mine. Sweet guy. He's a big video game horror nerd. Someone who I admire their taste. We have a lot in common, and we've always been able to talk just about the things we like. And so I was very excited and eager to get him on here for my first inaugural episode of the Damage Per podcast, because I just want to work out some kinks and figure out what it's going to look like. And he was very sweet, and he said, "Sure, let's give it a shot." And So here we are. It's going to be it's about a half hour of us talking just about games we're playing and movies we watched. I wanted to talk about books too. I'm currently reading Death Troopers right now, Star Wars Legends Death Troopers, which is a Star Wars horror novel that's quite good for October. But it follows an Imperial prison ship that breaks down, and the only way for them to get help is this Imperial Star Cruiser that they have to attach to, and it turns out that there's this awful virus turning people into zombies. It's pretty cool. So I didn't get a chance to talk about that, but we talked about some video games and some movies we watched. And Mitch is a great guy. He's just he's got a great voice. You'll see. I think listening to him is just really nice. So I really hope you love what this is. Like I said, I'm sort of just working the kinks out. I say a lot of ums and ahs. I don't have a real microphone yet. There's a lot of things that I need to work on to make it perfect. But just sitting around and shooting the shit about things you like is how I like to keep it. If you're just in the basement with your friends and just talking about stuff. So I try to bring that feeling to everything I do, whether it's my writing or it's this. I just hope people feel comfortable and feel comfortable enough to just talk about things they love, which is really what I'm trying to do here. So without further ado, here we go. Here goes the podcast. All right, so we are going to. I think we'll start with video games, Mitch. Let's talk about video games. I'll go first, and I'll let you pipe up with what you've been playing. But so right now I just about finished replay of Dead Space. I'm doing a sort of I'm playing the remake that they just recently put out this year, and I'm doing a write up about sort of a nostalgic 15 years of where how far the game has come, or how how similar it is in after 15 years. And I have to say it's really fascinating to me that third person action shooters just have never felt so unique. I feel like that moment of time in the mid-aughts that they're come up with really creative ways to create the third person shooter, and this one was well, you can't really just shoot the zombie aliens, the xenomorphs or whatever they are,
right,
a bunch of times to kill them. You have to dismember them to get their health down or whatever. And I was really it's really interesting, and they do so much with the controller scheme too, which I thought is still really cool. You have the stasis where you can freeze them, and then you have the the kinetic thing where you can throw things at them, and it's all done just holding different triggers and pressing different buttons, and it just still feels refreshing all these years later. I think what doesn't feel refreshing anymore though is that there's a ton of backtracking in that first game. So for you play it the first 6 hours and you see pretty much all the Ishimura, and then it's okay, well, we're gonna just kind of make you bump around the Ishimura and do just go back to these places you couldn't get to before, and it has that Metroid Prime kind of feel to it, but it just feels a lot more backtracky than I remember it. But with that said, it's still such a good, like, and of course the remake or the remaster ever looks better, and sounds
Right.
better and plays better in general, but like just the level design and the enemy design is still so refreshing even after 15 years. It's pretty crazy. I mean, you've played the Dead Space games, I assume.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, I remember buying the first one the day it came out, and just because that's survival horror is such my jam, and
Mm-hmm.
I was just blown away by it. And but you're right, like the fact that it's almost all in one locale kind of forces, I feel like, that backtracking a little bit, and that's
Mm-hmm.
why I think I like two a little bit better. Uh,
Yeah.
it really opens things up and stuff like that. But that tends to be the way it works, with these sequels and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. But I also love just the fact that it became such a thing, like
Mm-hmm.
animated movies. There were comics, there was
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff, and then you get the on rails shooter on the Wii. Like just the fact
Yeah.
that Dead Space became such a huge IP, like out of nowhere, it felt like.
Yeah, I think, what was it, Dead Space Extraction, I think, was for
Yeah,
the Wii. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty tight. And you're right, like there was a lot of media tie-in. There was two books, one of
mm,
which was written by Brian Evanson, who's a very, very good like horror writer who's still around. And he did the first one and it's really good. Like they did a lot with that property, and I think eventually what happened is that EA just did the EA thing, and it was around the time where they really destroyed their IPs, where they were like, well, now you have to pay for multiplayer, and you have to play multiplayer to like see all the other levels in the game. Because I think in Dead Space 3, like I like that
three.
game,
Yeah,
but it's definitely like an action RP, like an action shooter. It's. And they
yeah,
did the same thing with Mass Effect, with Mass Effect 3, but they were like, yeah, multiplayer, you're gonna pay for it,
right.
and we're gonna force you to play it. And we're gonna take away from like the main story elements. And I think they eventually killed it, which is sucks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if they maybe make a new one. I don't know how. I mean, I feel like the remake did pretty good. I own it, but I haven't played it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if we're going to talk about games a lot here, you'll hear
Yeah.
that a lot from me.
What's
uh,
that? Wait, what's that? Sorry.
that I bought it, but I've yet to play it. I keep buying shit, and all I play is Destiny. So I'm like, I have to buy this stuff, and like I had to get the Dead Space remake, and I do wait for sales typically, but
Uh-huh.
my backlog is insane.
Wait, I'm so sorry. So have you played the Dead Space remake yet, or no? You just haven't?
No, I bought it. I just haven't played it.
Oh, okay, got it. It's yeah, I would say it's very much worth your time. They added some extra things. It has some like side quest shit in there that just it doesn't really add anything. I think they're just kind of trying to add to the time value to the game. It's because it's really not that long.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yes, I think it's very much, it's good time of year to be playing it, I feel like. And especially with headphones, the sound design they did on it is just it gives me the
Okay.
creeps. Like, oh my
Nice.
god. I mean, there's plenty of times in that game where I'm playing it, and I'm just like, I go like to turn around, and then like one of those things are there, and I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, like, like
Yeah.
like like it's just it still works. So I've been playing that. I've been playing something else, but I want you to talk, Mitch. I'm sorry, you're still playing Destiny 2,
Yep.
the Bungie MMO looter shooter,
Yes.
uh extravagance of the
Yeah.
century.
Yeah. What is? I guess we're on like year 11 if you count D1.
Mm-hmm.
I play it every day. I'm pretty addicted to it still.
Mm-hmm.
This season's been really good. They did a season of the Witch where there's some stuff with Eris Morn and the Hive, and we're still going after Zivu and all that kind of stuff. And it's just a game that there has never been a game that's got its hooks into me the way this one has.
Mm-hmm.
I went from playing it with doing in-game stuff with friends every week, multiple times a week, to now it's pretty much just me and one other guy. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I still play it every day. Like I'm just addicted to it. Um, my guardians, my little characters, they're very important to me, I guess, at this point, because we've
Mm-hmm.
been there so long and stuff like that. It's such a nerd thing to say, but
Nah,
um,
man, it's cool. You have like a Destiny tattoo, don't you?
yeah, I have three now. I got
Yeah.
my first tattoo right before COVID, right before lockdown, and I got a hunter logo on my wrist because I'm a hunter main,
Mm-hmm.
and since then I've added the warlock and titan to my forearm. So yeah.
Nice. What's it? What? So, can you just like briefly like tell me what is that? I haven't played it now in a really long time, and what is that game now? Is it more or less the same, or or would you say it's just more robust in the areas? Like, I don't know, you tell me.
Yeah, the one, I mean, it's basically, because you and I played a little bit, I think, of Destiny 1.
Yeah.
Uh, it's basically the same thing. I feel like the main difference is they've really, really fixed their storytelling, or at least
Hmm.
made it better. Because Destiny 1, to get story out of Destiny 1 that made sense, you had to read lore tabs and lore cards and subscribe to YouTube channels of people who are way smarter than me, to get into shit right. And so, um, two, they especially once they went to the seasonal thing where they're
Uh-huh.
they're saying there won't be a three, that they're just going to keep adding content or moving content to two. And the way they've started to tell story is through seasons that are they'll there's usually about 10 weeks worth of stuff, and it's kind of like time gated where they give you a certain amount of stuff this week. You come back on reset Tuesday, they give you a little more of the story, and it
Hmm.
kind of goes from there.
Hmm.
So that's probably the main difference from the last time you may have played it.
Sure.
I feel like the narrative is way stronger, but the core gameplay, and they've added all new abilities and different subclasses. We have new powers and all that typical bullshit.
Hmm.
But the main thing that I really you know still enjoy about it is just how much better they're doing with the story.
Hmm.
Um,
I think, I mean, for me, like what I always loved about, and I still, I mean, if I were to pick it up now, what I still love about Destiny is the way Bungie does console shooters. It's just,
yep.
it's really untouchable. Like the way they make, um, the character feel, and how like the player, like how it feels to just shoot a gun in
Yes.
Destiny
Yeah.
is unparalleled to anything else. And they've always been, I mean, since since Halo to
Oh yeah.
now, but it's even more so because you're 60 frames a second now. And like it just,
Yeah.
everything feels so good and unique, that it really stands out. And I think that is always what's going to help them. And yeah, I'm curious about the future of Destiny myself, because I'm not really sure what they're trying, like where they're going with it, or yeah, like you
Yeah.
said, yeah, they're gonna keep making just like, if it just becomes Destiny with no number, like I feel like
Right.
that's like it's
Well,
just
yeah.
World of Warcraft. Like,
Right. Well, the other thing is like they're bringing Marathon back as a new IP, so
mhm. Oh
it's still good.
yeah, I forgot
So
about that.
yeah, so they dropped the trailer for that at the big reveal thing on Bungie Day or whatever, and
Bungie
that does
did.
not look like it's going to be my jam at all. Um,
Mhm.
Online only competitive rescue shooter, like yeah, I'm too old for that shit, man. I can't play with these kids like that. So, like, I need my slow solo player stuff. Like,
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I see people playing like, yeah, like I don't know, like those like battle, like Modern Warfare battle
Apex.
royales. I'm just
I
like, it
wanted, man,
seems
I
so
wanted to like,
stressful.
yes, I wanted to like Apex so much because I love Respawn. I love Titanfall, and
Yeah.
like the character design in Apex is so cool. Yeah,
Yep.
no, I did it one time,
Yep.
once. I was like,
Yep.
nah, I'm good. Like, I
Yeah.
died so fast.
I grew up on like Unreal Tournament, right? I like a map that I know that I get
Yeah,
used to, and then I know the map. Like that's my favorite part,
yeah.
and I'm not saying the battle royals don't have like their like maps, but it's just like I like a nice small
Mhm.
place that I like can poke around and have fun and get used to. My brain can wrap around it a lot easier
Yes.
than
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah, than something the size of a small country. Like,
Yeah.
like no, I don't need that in my life. And then like the whole thing with those battle royale games is like they stress me out. I can't, well, because like it's like you're watching this number continuously go down. You're like, shit, when's it gonna be my number? Like when am I, when are they gonna get me and shit? And there's like people
Right.
are around every corner. I can't
Yeah.
handle
Meanwhile, you gotta like find all the guns you need and
it.
like
Yes.
grab all the things. Like I don't know. Just give me jump pads and
Yep.
give me
Yep.
a frag gun. I
Where's the
call it a
shotgun?
day.
Yeah, right.
All right. I've also been playing. I got the new Forza, which
Oh, okay.
is really boring and great. Like that's the best way that I can explain it. I'm
Yeah.
not like a huge like I really loved Gran Turismo for the PlayStation,
Hmm.
which is also very boring and very fun. But I played like I don't know, like the Forza like 2 or 3 on the 360. Didn't like it. I really liked Horizon.
Yeah,
And
that's
then,
more my speed. Yeah.
yeah, Horizon was really good. And the last Horizon I liked, but it's so big that I just
Yeah.
kind of like got a little tired of it, like, maybe about 20 to 30 hours in. I was just like, okay, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
This new Forza is very, very beautiful. And if
Mm.
you just wanted a game where they're like, here, press X, you're in car, drive around, and then you're done, like that's that, like that, they give you that. And that's kind of nice. I think it's really refreshing in
Yeah.
2023 to play a game that's so straightforward and has like its frills is basically like how the car handles and how it looks, and really like everything else. They're not trying to like microtransaction you. They're not throwing all these menus at you. Like you can buy like other things to buy more cars, but you don't have to, and they don't shove it in your face. It's not like Diablo recently that kind of annoyed me too about Diablo 4, but it feels like um they really create an experience where you boot the game up, you select a track, and you get in the car and you do
Mm.
the race, and then you're done. And
That's that's great because, and I will say this, you were 100% correct about Horizon 4. Um,
yeah,
it's everything doesn't have to be an open world. It's a racing game, dude. Like,
yeah, like I'm good.
and then to speak to your other point, especially about menus, and this blew my mind. But I bought the last Modern Warfare, not the one from not I guess it was last year, whichever one had Ghost on the front, Modern Warfare 2.
Who knows anymore?
Man, all I wanted to do was play the campaign. I only buy those games for campaign, right?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find it. I
Yeah,
searched
they don't
for
want
the
you to
game.
play it. They want
No,
they want you to buy skins,
it
and they
was
want you to buy map packs.
yeah, it was under like 4 different tiers of menus before I could even get to the damn campaign to install it.
Yeah, that's
I was like, this is
horrendous.
insanity. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to play your battle royale. And that's the first thing. It's like installing this, and I'm like, no, 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 no. I want the campaign. Couldn't find it. Like,
Yeah, you're like, I want like a cinematic, like
yes.
interactive story.
Yep.
It's funny you mentioned that too. Okay, so Forza is great if you like to just it's a boring car game and you just like zone out. You can put Spotify on in the background when you're playing it in
Mhm.
the Xbox. It's great. It looks
Yes.
beautiful. The cars handle really well. The way the haptic feedback works on the vibrations for when you turn is just incredible. They did a
Mhm.
great job, but it is what it is. But to speak to your point about like narrative in video games, I actually went back and I re-downloaded. Do you remember the Spec Ops: The Line?
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
God,
So
fantastic game.
yeah. So I was thinking about like, because that game's story is one of those game stories that like completely like T-bones you.
Yep.
Like towards the end, like it gets it fucks you up. Like it's like
Yes.
it starts as like this pretty like standard like modern military desert third person shooter, like cover based shooter, and then all of a sudden it goes in a direction where you're like losing your mind and you're like, what
Yeah.
is happening?
Yeah.
And like I'm kind of trying to like I'm getting through it slowly because I'm kind of trying to formulate like some sort of like thesis on like how like video game and narratives. I mean, they're a lot different now. Video games are just different in general, but like they're like something about those like linear narratives like that where the developers were really able to be like, this is what we want to like tell you specifically.
Right.
And then like and it was a Spec Ops IP game, which is also super weird because that game before that was not like this game.
Right.
Like it was just it's a very strange. I don't think it made a ton of money. I have to kind of look at all that
No.
stuff. I think it kind of it like reviewers thought it was really interesting, but I feel like it didn't make any money because it was just like, oh, it's another like you know we're white guys shooting people of color in
Yeah.
the desert game. And like it just kind of was it was like at that time where those games were, I think, feeling like rubbing people the wrong way. But if you like
Yeah.
stuck with it, you realize what they were really trying to say about what the
Yeah.
war was.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so cool you bring that game up, man, because the only reason I played it was because it was a PSN game on the PS3,
Uh-huh.
and so I downloaded it and I was like, yeah, I'll try it out. Looks neat. And then I blew me away. And then I brought it back up to a buddy of mine last year, actually, because I ended up buying a copy on the 360 because I wanted to replay it. And
Mm-hmm.
he loves military shooters and he'd never played it. So
Yeah.
He bought it and played it too. He loved it.
Yeah.
So it's cool that I'm not the only one who knows about this game. Like,
Yeah, no, that game it's incredible for a lot of different reasons. And I think that like, that time that era of video games is really special to me because that's kind of where I played a lot of these games that I feel like are peak, narrative games in a lot of ways. I'm not saying video games are bad now, like they're great now, but
Yeah.
it's just there's something about that era of gaming
Yeah.
that really you don't see anymore, and games just take longer and to make, and they're not taking as many risks with game because it's such a huge
Mm-hmm.
huge business now than it used to be.
Right.
But yeah, the line is that's a horror game really when you get down to
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Also it's really cool that the environment is so you can interact with the environment so much. You can like shoot out like glass where there's like sand, and you can like get guys to like take guys out off of it because it's in Dubai, so it's you
Right.
can take them off skyscrapers and stuff, and like there's just
Yeah.
really like
Sandstorms are coming through and stuff. Like,
yeah, like there's like really thoughtful things about that game that I really miss that I just don't see any as much anymore.
yeah.
Um, okay, let's we got a few minutes before our recording before
Oh,
I'm too poor to pay for more recording space. Um, so let's talk movies. I saw The Creator, which I really really dug.
ooh, okay.
It's a very beautiful movie, like looking coolest like AI units I've seen in live action before. I think though that if you've watched a lot of sci-fi or read a lot of manga or watched a lot of anime, I think especially like the cyberpunky stuff, I think you'll be like, oh, okay, like I've seen a version of this story
Yeah.
before. So like there wasn't any big like, oh my god, crazy surprises, but I think if you wanted like a good sci-fi movie, highly recommend it. It's like 2 hours and 10 minutes. It feels a little long. The last act, the writing, where they decided to go with it, I wasn't super crazy about,
Okay.
but I thought it ended, it ended well, and I think that the whole movie itself, it has a lot of great, interesting, thought-provoking moments. And everyone's so funny because they're like, "Oh, AI is like such a big fucking conversation point now," and it's like these kinds of movies have been made for like so long. Like
Yeah.
what is wrong with you people? Like everyone's like, this is what's gonna happen, and it's like, bro, like we've been like have you watched Ghost in the Shell from the 80s? Like
No shit. Yeah. Do you want Terminators? This is how we get Terminators. Like,
yeah,
okay.
exactly. Like I don't like this is not new concepts, but anyway, I digress. I think it's really cool. Gareth Edwards is awesome. He did Star Wars Rogue One, which is like my favorite
Yes.
Star Wars movie.
Yep.
Um uh After Empire, I guess. But I feel like it's definitely worth seeing. I don't think it made a ton of money, unfortunately. So you may want to catch it like this weekend or the next.
Yeah.
Um
I'm
it's
excited for it. It's just one of those things that, I, even at my age, have yet to ever live in a town that actually had its own theater. I have to go out of town to go to theaters. So I rely a lot on streaming and stuff. I don't make it to the theater as often as I'd like, but I am looking
Mhm.
forward to that out.
Yeah, highly recommend it. I went and saw it in IMAX, which IMAX doesn't really mean much anymore when it's digital. It just means the screen's bigger. But
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
it was very beautiful, like very like visually arresting. The movie was. So I very much recommend it.
Sweet.
Have you watched anything super great lately you liked?
Um, so we're kind of doing a thing for the podcast, where we're gonna watch something new to us every day this month. So I've been kind of doing that, and I've decided to go through because I blind buy so many Blu-rays from like Vinegar and
Oh,
Arrow,
sure.
and so I always intend to get to it, and then I just put it on the shelf because the new shit's coming out next week or whatever stuff. So I'm watching a bunch of old stuff right now, but I've seen I was looking at Letterbox on my phone. Sorry,
No, you're
just
good.
looking away. That's what I'm doing. I guess the newest stuff that I've seen, I saw the Boogeyman,
Oh yeah,
um, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
yeah. I
Um,
gotta check that out.
I love that story, that short story. I think it was in Night Shift,
Mm-hmm.
Stephen King.
Mm-hmm.
Reading that in eighth grade, and I was in Mr. White's English class, and I was supposed to be reading something else. I had Night Shift open in my lap, and I was reading the Boogeyman. Scared the shit out of me. And he caught me reading, and he yelled my name, and I
Uh-huh.
threw the fucking book, dude. Like he scared me so bad. Um, so the movie kind of does. What's the guy's name? Rob Savage or whatever that did the Zoom horror movie.
Oh yeah.
And then he did that one that everybody hated with the MAGA girl as the main character. Um, I'm blanking on all these. Anyway, but But this movie does kind of what the Black Phone did, where it takes a very short story and kind of presents you with what the story does, but then kind of goes in its own way and like
Uh-huh.
expands on it. And I feel like it does it in a really smart way. And the creature design was fucking phenomenal. Like I thought the
Sweet.
boogeyman itself. It was done by the same guys that did the monster in the Ritual. You
Oh
saw that?
damn. Yeah,
Yeah.
that that creature design is otherworldly.
Yes. Yeah. So it's not that cool, but like at least he knew to go after those guys because of their cred.
Uh-huh.
And could have been just any other boring, long haired kind of
Creepy
mama
thing.
looking
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. There's some really interesting stuff with it. So that was really cool. And then I saw The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Really
Oh yeah. You dug that?
yeah, I thought it was really good. I hate that they had to change the marketing to Dracula, Last Voyage of the Demeter because people weren't picking up on it.
People read books, Mitch. They don't know
I
that.
know, man. I was just like, come on, guys. Like, but super fun creature feature, like really strong performances from everybody involved.
Uh-huh.
Man, that movie is not afraid to go there with certain things. There's some stuff in that movie where I was like, that's not gonna happen. The fuck it isn't. It's like it was pretty gnarly, man. I really
That's
liked
that's really good to hear because I meant to go see that in the theater, and the theater it was playing in was a theater that I have to drive, kind of out of the way for, not my favorite
it.
theater. And I was like, and like it kind of got shit on the reviews, but for me, like the people who I know who like horror movies,
Mm,
which is quite a few of you, um, it was
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
It just
Yeah,
popped up
Zoom's
on
like
my screen.
Zoom is Diablo 4ing me right now. They're like, you wanna pay for the season pass and get unlimited record time? Like probably soon I will.
Yeah.
But a lot of people who I know who like horror movies really dug it, and I was kind of bummed out that I didn't see it in theaters. Is that streaming now? I haven't checked.
Yeah.
Okay. What's it? Is it like a rent of like $8, or is it like one of those like $20
I,
rentals?
no, I think it's just, I don't think I think you can buy it and it's like 20 bucks or so, but the Blu-ray is just about to come out. So I think I rented it and it was like 7 or 8 bucks.
Oh, okay, cool, 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 cool. That'd be fun. Whoa, shit. Okay, that would be fun. That'd be fun to watch, especially this month. So I think I'm gonna take you up on that recommendation.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so that would be great. The other, so we got 8. I want to give you time to be like, I want you to, talk about your mixtape and talk about, your OnlyFans page and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So I just quickly wanted to say that I haven't watched the last episode yet, but I've really enjoyed the Continental on Peacock, which is like the
Okay.
prequel to John Wick. It takes place in like the 70s or something, and it's about
Yeah.
the hotel that's in John Wick.
Right.
When the first episode came out, all the reviewers like I don't know what was wrong with them. Like they were just like had to stick up their butt about it. But I think it's doing okay now on Rotten Tomatoes. But I think it's good. It's very entertaining. The second episode was like definitely like a lot of filler and like taking its time. But it's like 3 like hour and 20-minute episodes.
Mm.
And I still have to watch the last one. But I think like if you want like dumb schlocky action
Yeah.
tied into the John Wick, Mel Gibson's in it, and
Oh
like
no.
yeah, you just cancel, but he plays an asshole. So like
I feel like that's the trajectory he's gone in. It's like he's kind of steering into the cancellation by just being a dick and
yeah,
everything.
yeah, and he plays a really like you hate the character he plays, so like it kind of makes sense. And you
Yeah.
know what, it's hard because he is such a good actor. so
Right. Yeah.
so like
I know.
when he plays a dick, he's really convincing. But I very much recommend it if you like. I mean, you could watch it without watching John Wick. I feel like it's not like Keanu Reeves shows up or anything. Like it's in the
Right.
70s. It's so removed from those movies. So I really been digging that. So I recommend that. Oh, and I'm about to rewatch again, probably for the 10th time in my life, but Silent Hill from 2006 because I'm right about that because it's been
I
about
revisited that
yeah.
last two
Does it
ago.
hold up?
I feel like it does, man, but I loved it the first time and people seem to hate it. So
No, I love it too. I think that movie is excellent. The second
oh,
one,
yeah.
the second Silent Hill was not very good.
No,
There's a lot of
no,
like weird CG and like it was just uninteresting
yeah,
story. But I
yeah,
thought the first one was great. Sean Bean's in it.
yeah,
Like Ronna Mitchell. Like there's some
yeah.
really great like people in that movie.
And,
And
and,
it's
and
just atmospherically very creepy.
Yeah, I mean, and the performances are kind of wonky, but like that's the way the game is. And
Yeah.
I feel like maybe that was part of people's issue with it. Maybe they weren't that familiar with the game or something.
Hmm.
But for an adaptation of the first Silent Hill game loosely, I mean, I thought it was great.
Yeah, for a video game film adaptation in 2000 and whatever,
Right.
it's
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
okay.
Exactly.
I mean, that was like, I mean, I like the first couple of Resident Evil movies. And then I don't
Mm,
know if I dislike the newest ones, but they're just, I don't know what you call those movies anymore.
I know. I like
They're
the
just like action bubble gum
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Paul W.S. Anderson's like, look at my hot wife shooting
Yeah.
things.
The I kind of fell off on those for him, but I really like that last one that people hated. So
Yeah, I thought it was, I think like they'd always come out, people would just shit on him and I'd watch them and be like, I don't know. Like I've seen some really bad movies. And like
yes.
like this is not good, but like it's got a
Right.
lot of money in it and it looks okay. And like I don't know. Like I think if you watched a lot of horror movies, you've seen a lot of really bad movies.
Yeah,
And
for
so
sure.
like your expectations are like really
Oh my God,
manageable.
man, or video game movies. Like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I liked Monster Hunter, so that tells you where I'm at with video game
Oh
adaptation.
shit, I never even watched that. I should do that.
It's something.
Yeah. Oh man, that World of Warcraft. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of
Yeah.
them that are like interesting.
Yes.
Anyways, Mitch, I think we're gonna wrap this up because we're running out of my free
Yeah,
trial of
man.
Zoom recording space. I would love to keep talking to you about all the nerdy things because I it's really fun and you're very good at it.
Oh, thank
So Mitch, where can people find you? Where are you? What do you do? What's going on?
Yeah, not as much as I used to anymore here on the old interwebs, but I am on Blue Sky. I'm Mr. Bones almost everywhere, or Mr. Bones underscore DBW, and DBW stands for Divided by Werewolves, which is a horror kind of pop culture podcast that I do with my friend Brandon. We do episodes every other week. Episode 183 dropped today, so we've been doing this for a little bit. We're not very good at it, but we have a good time, and some people listen to it, which is cool as shit. Uh,
You
I
guys
would look
are
at
good. I feel like the podcast vibe should go back to just like talking to just talking dudes talking, dudettes talking, whomever talking about like really low key about things they care about. It just everything feels overproduced now, which is my struggle with contemporary podcast. I have a lot of struggles with contemporary things, clearly. But
that it's fun. That's kind of where our kind of podcast was born from. I mean, we would play video games together and have these conversations about the new MCU movie or fucking whatever or something like that. And Brandon was like, "We should probably start recording these." I was like, "Well, you figure it out, man. I'm down." And then here we are, six and
yeah,
a half years later.
you figure out the internet's on that one because that sounds
Yeah,
like too much work.
that's above my head, man. But if you can figure it out, I'm down to do it. So
So Divided by Werewolves, Mr. Bones, DBW, all over the internet. I will make sure to somehow link all this stuff. This is Mitch was very gracious to do this with me. This is my first inaugural, podcast situation here. And I don't really know how it all works. I'm doing this solo. So previously when I had done podcasts, other people had handled the back end things of it. So I hope to be able to link to Mitch directly. But Mitch is a cool guy. He likes cool things, and we've known each other
having
on
me,
the
man.
internet for like over a decade.
Yeah,
Like,
it's been a long time. Thank you
yeah, I
for
think like
having me for this, man. I really appreciate it. I had a great time.
yeah, it was super fun. Yeah, I think this is good. We can always do it again for
For sure.
something. I'm not sure what this podcast is gonna be just yet. It's not something I can do really every week. My job is very demanding, and my other free time is spent writing and trying to do all the
Yeah.
other things.
Oh, you're killing that stuff too, man. I'm just gonna tell you that
Uh,
I'm loving the I think it's the Substack. Is that what it's
yeah.
called? Yeah, I'm loving it, man. I got everything you've put up there. I've read. So
Oh,
you're
thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. It's I got to the point in my life where I was like, I don't want to write for anybody else, and I want to write still. What can I do to make a project?
right,
And
right.
just pick the thing that I'm very, very good at and specific about. And I asked a few people, including the person I was dating at the time. I was like, think I should like maybe do something like that? She was like, yes.
Yeah.
So So, it's been growing, and it's doing really well, and I just hope to keep adding things to it and bring more friends on. Like, this is fun for me. I don't really care who talks, authors, big authors, and also just my friends who are doing their thing. So, yeah, anyways, Mitch, thank you so much. And that will conclude I gotta figure out how to stop recording. I don't want to I just don't want to make you disappear. Okay, here we go. Thank you for listening to my podcast with Mitch. Like Mitch said, you can find him on the interwebs. Mr. Bones pretty much everywhere. And the Divided by Werewolves podcast. Give them a listen if you're really into, especially horror stuff. I used to podcast and write a lot about horror movies and things, and I had a good time, and I still am very much in love with the genre. So give them a listen. Of course, you can find me Damage Per Second on Instagram. You can also find my Substack through that. All my links are there, but my Substack directly, its URL is just Jesse Bartel, JESSEBARTEL.substack, SUBSTACK.com, and it'll take you to the page. Working on a lot of fun stuff. And October through December is all the Gears of War, so a lot of Gears of War content, also just other things too. But Gears of War is definitely the fixation. At least the first 5 novels written by Karen Travis. So go over there, take a peek, and thank you so much for listening. And I hope you enjoyed it.